Hi, welcome to the 27th Annual Seabury Quinn Jr. Playwrights Festival at Ohio University. My name is Stephen Strafford, and I am the associate producer of the festival this year. I'm excited to introduce our thesis production of Behead by John Hendel, directed by David Haugen. Behead runs approximately 1 hour and 50 minutes with no intermission. Please stick around afterwards to watch a roundtable discussion with our guest mentors, Martine Key Green Rogers, Aaron Carter, and Crystal Skillman. If you want to know why we're so excited to have these mentors here with us, here are their bios. I will read them for you now. Martine Key Green Rogers is an associate professor at SUNY New Paltz, past president of the Literary Managers and Dramaturgs of the Americas, and the fellowship associate at the Playwrights Center. Her dramaturgical credits include The Catastrophist at Marin, He Brought Her Heart Back in a Box in the Ohio State Murders at Roundhouse Theater, The Greatest with the Louisville Orchestra, Four Women Talking About the Man Under the Sheet, and Silent Dancer at Salt Lake Acting Company, Fences and One Man, Two Governors at Pioneer Theater Company, Sweat at the Goodman, productions of King Hedley II, Radio Golf, Five Guys Named Mo, Blues for an Alabama Sky, Gem of the Ocean, Waiting for Godot, Iphigenia at Alice, Seven Guitars, The Mountaintop, Home, and Porgy and Bess at Court Theater, Hairspray, The Book of Will, Shakespeare in Love, Unison, Hannah and the Dead Gazebo, Comedy of Errors, To Kill a Mockingbird, The African Company Presents Richard III, A Midsummer Night's Dream, and Fences at the Oregon Shakespeare Festival. Aaron Carter's writing focuses on the intersections between race and faith, and is inspired by his lifelong interest in circus, magic, and sci-fi. His plays have been produced and developed at Roundabout, Steppenwolf, Victory Gardens, Timeline, and the Lorraine Hansberry Theater, among others. His play, Gospel of Franklin, was in the 2019 Roundabout Underground Reading Series. His adaptation of the Walter Dean Myers novel Monster was produced at Steppenwolf. His latest play, Possession, uses ghost story structure to explore racial identity and legacy. Aaron previously worked as an artistic producer at Steppenwolf Theater Company, where he supported projects such as Passover by Antoinette Nwandu and The Minutes by Tracy Letts. Crystal Skillman is a 4-time New York Times critic-picked playwright expanding into audio drama and television. You can listen to King Kirby, her episodic audio play, just released on Broadway Podcast Network, about the life of comic book artist Jack Kirby, co-creator of the Marvel Universe, or read their comic book Eat Fighter on Webtoon. Crystal is currently writing her scripted audio drama series The Magician's Magician, which will be released with Boom-integrated John Marshall Media this fall. She just finished the pilot of her half-hour original musical comedy Overnight Success with co-conceiver Lauren Elder and her songwriter Regina Stayhorn. Theatrically, Crystal is a noted book writer of musicals. Her musicals with Bobby Cronin include the award-winning Mary and Max, as well as her play with music, Rain and Zoe Saved the World, just optioned by DDM Productions, Drew and Dane Productions. And the animated series Cosmic Critters. Other musicals include Postcard American Town with composer Lynn Shankel, The Show is Money, and A New City. Crystal is the author of plays Geek and Open. She was selected for the 2020-2023 core membership at the Playwrights Center, and her play Pulp Verite was recently featured in their season. Current feature screenplays include 7 Variations on the Same Lover and Drunk Art Love. Crystal has written for Marvel Comics, as well as Adventure Time. So that's who we have after the show, and now it is my pleasure to introduce Behead.
Now that's how you kill a king!
A terrific affair, an historic affair, well planned.
Well executed. The world beneath our feet breathes easier.
Oh, don't be ridiculous, Pitula Ice Breath. The earth does not breathe.
And history is fake, Dr. Alfar.
But historiography is real, my necromancer colleague. And we three shall be the heroes of this story. We are now the first non-hereditary rulers of this nation. And there are 3 of us, so it's progressive.
Ooh. My friends, let us raise a toast. This bottle was the finest bottle in King Kermit's cellar. Ah. And some for you. Yes, a little for you and for me. To the Revolutionary Council.
To the Revolutionary Council.
To us?
To us!
To King Kermit's decapitated head.
To the head?
May it be destroyed properly.
I have faith in Allegra of Antlers. She'll ensure the task is done. She swiped the head this morning before the rabble could descend to do God knows what perversions to it.
She had better. The head of a king must be destroyed. We cannot have the monarchy influencing society from beyond the grave.
How did you find the young woman, Laramont?
Oh, she came to my attention as a child. She's a true revolutionary spirit. She was kept prisoner at one of Kermit's workhouses until the torture got too much. And then she burned the place down with her captors inside. She and a friend escaped here to the capital.
Pity she had to destroy the building. It could have made a lovely summer home.
You already have two.
For July and August, yes. But what of September?
Why didn't your spies slaughter the child on sight?
Well, I was impressed. I told them not to.
But can we trust an arsonist to destroy a human head? Fire will not destroy bone. The head must be gone entirely.
Once again, Ice Breath, I assure you she'll destroy the head. That child who escaped with her, that was Louis Leroy, the apothecary. He will do whatever it is an apothecary does with mixing and chemicals and funny smells. He will do those things, and the heads will be destroyed.
But did we have to offer them positions on the council? It should just be the three of us.
Yes, well, we were drunk, weren't we?
Not that drunk.
I recall being quite drunk when we spoke to them.
I would have forgotten the whole thing if we hadn't written this contract.
Did we include an opt-out clause?
The only way to lose a seat on the council is to try and usurp the council. Maybe we'll get lucky and they'll try to usurp the council and we can kick them off.
Is that the sort of leader they taught you to be at the academy, Dr. Alfar?
Absolutely. The most successful leaders at the academy have sat on as many committee seats as they possibly could. To lose a committee seat is to lose integrity in the community. Committees keep us busy and provide a convenient excuse for when, the common people demand tangible goods and actions.
Foolishness, Alfar. Committees are sad little tea kettles of gossip and bickering. Kermit the Sixth kept his hand in everything, too.
But King Kermit didn't do anything.
The proper leadership is from the shadows. The populace at large does not understand power, neither can they comprehend it. We must be unknowable, unreachable, and inaccessible.
Unaccessible? The word is unaccessible.
But what about the people?
The what people?
The peasants?
Yes. Who will praise us if we're in the shadows? No. We must do the deeds that inspire handsome statues and beautiful paintings. During the decade of marches, as Kermit expanded his kingdom, I strode magnificently on elegant steeds and wore shiny helmets. The conquered hordes gawked at my beauty. All it took to earn their love was to host a single, solitary orgy with our country's gorgeous troops.
Will you stop bringing up your orgies?
It is rude to boast.
Louis Leroy and Allegra of Antlers will endear us to the common people. They will view us as evolved and progressive, and as such, we'll get off our backs.
So long as the common people are loyal to the committee.
You cannot trust the poor to keep their mouths shut.
You underestimate the loyalty we won today. The king is dead.
Can you hear him, Ice Breath? Now that he is dead?
Allow me to incant. Let us see if the foul wretch has any parting words for his erstwhile courtiers. Gather close to here with me. Ice breath, ice breath, it's a very nice breath. It is only my breath, it's a very chilly breeze. Ice breath, ice breath, I don't want a live breath. Give me one who's died's breath. Bring your voices to me, please. Hermit? Hermit, is that you?
You motherfucking sacks of coward shit, whose hearts pump piss, whose lungs are choked with spit.
Oh, our deceased monarch is cranky on his first day as a ghost.
Still speaking with that royal rhythm, I see.
Oh, Alphar, Ice Breath, Laramont, you babe.
Thank you!
Impulsive infants! Fucking dunces all! You think the time has come for me to fall? You think this world is ready to revolve? My body and my power are not one. The one's complete, the other's not yet done.
He's the peasant woman's problem now.
She must destroy the head so that even in death, his voice is silenced.
Let us go check in on her. After that, we are due to give speeches to the city.
Ooh, I love addressing.
You're sure she intends to destroy the head?
Absolutely. Allegra told me she's very excited for the chance to help out.
It was like a dream. The rush and control and importance and strength felt too impossible for this land. When I was a child, I dreamed I was a magic queen, and I felt this same weightlessness. It is the morning of the execution. My body walks familiar streets, but my mind flies over the country. I want to be a part of this land. I was born in this land, yet it rejects me and ignores me. It ignores everything and everyone I understand to be good. It ignores these bucolic hills and pastures below me. It ignores these trees, those shepherds, their sheep. It ignores itself because it is not a country at all. It is from its foundation a money machine for the ancient powers that be. I drift through the clouds above our city, over the thatched roofs and smoky chimneys. The town is quiet on the outskirts as the people flood in toward the main square like ants to a piece of candy, to where the guillotine towers. I feel above the guillotine. There is tranquility high above the crowds, but as I descend toward the people, the roar and rabble grow and grow to a blinding blur that shakes my very brain and fills my eyes with noise. My mind lands on top of the guillotine. I perch on top of the blade. The royal carriage reaches its final destination. The king, a sinful monster birthed from a cauldron of pestilence, slithers out the carriage door. His prison slippers are worth more than my entire life to date. General Laramont dresses down his former commander-in-chief. The academic Dr. Alphar confers with the executioner on matters of methodology, of which the executioner is already well aware. Petula Ice Breath, the master of necromancy, blesses the guillotine with a talisman. The Revolutionary Council makes no note of my presence, though it was they who asked me here. Soon all noise stops, and my perch on the guillotine is as silent as 50,000 feet in the sky. The executioner takes the rope and my perch wobbles. The king mutters something, or maybe yells something, or whispers something. The rope is pulled and my mind descends again. My perch sinks and slices through the king. Everything goes black. The roar of the crowd builds and builds like a boulder of revolution careening down a mountainside. When I see again, I am on my feet, running harder than I've ever run before. I hold the heavy, dripping basket in my arms. I have never felt more powerful in my life!
Finally, it's supposed to be fast.
Louis!
Quick, let's make room to work.
Louis!
We have a responsibility to the Revolutionary Council to finish before nightfall.
Louis!
What? What is it, Allegra? We have to get going.
Louis! He's dead!
Yes, it's pretty great.
Louis, he's dead!
He's dead.
Dead!
Run now, you bloodthirsty bastard!
Yes! Party time, baby!
We can raise a glass later. Today is not done yet.
But he's fucking dead! It's a goddamn glorious new day, Louis! Beautiful blue skies, golden sunshine, a whiff of well-meaning bloodshed in the air. I feel as light and powerful as a winged horse.
Today is not about you. Today is about the whole country. We have an obligation to everyone.
He's dead. Finally! Not of old age, not in the comfort and privacy of his own bed, but in the streets with a screeching blade!
Is that him?
A good chunk of him.
Quick, put him on the table. You clean up all this blood you spilled.
Oh, whoops. Look at the mess I made. That right melon of his bled through my best basket. The Revolutionary Council owes me a new basket.
I think an invitation to the committee running the whole entire country would be enough. You're lucky Laramont didn't carve you open for your prepubescent pyromania.
It worked out, didn't it? I caught the ride with the fire, which led them to you, who can destroy the king's head with your apothecarium.
Yes, this was your plan all along. You just never thought to tell me.
There's no need for snappiness.
You're right. That's not very combative of me. I'm just taking this seriously is all. The necromancer needs the head destroyed to eradicate the spirit of the monarchy.
Oh, we're doing necromancy? Let me try. I always thought I was pretty magical.
No, we're doing nothing right now. Remove the basket. We must get to work. The guillotine is vicious. That explains all the blood.
He's all puffed out like a royal cheese curd,
Yeah, the council really cut out our work for us on this one.
so to speak. What do you think of the council, Louis?
What do I think of the council? I think they need us to do a job for them.
Do you trust them?
Do you?
Not especially.
That's a problem.
An understandable problem.
Go on.
Okay, well, first of all, it's a wee little group of elites. They are nothing like us.
They need peasants like us to counter them.
Is that what they expect of us?
We need to use our influence to represent the people. Our influence won't fight for our people.
2 orphans speaking for millions, just as it should be.
That's a big responsibility.
Hell yeah, it is. It's about damn time to have a say around here. It's just like I told Laramont. I can and will be a helping hand to all.
Really? Good. Start with me for a change.
Oh, har har.
Knock, knock, knock! Mr. Leroy! It is General Laramont at your door.
Shit to that.
I'm not a shit.
Mr. Leroy! Allegra! Did you enjoy the festivities?
Yeah. Thanks for my front row seat.
I helped a kid watch for my shoulder so I couldn't see anything. Sounded great though.
You know, my broadsword has beheaded many a man. Traitors, cowards, thieves. My meaty hands know the vibration of metal slicing through membrane and vocal cords. But none of the violence committed by these hands can top today's glorious execution. My whole person shakes with an excitement at a future free of monarchy.
And you must be the one who torched the Were cows.
Yes, Dr. Alfar. Allegra of Antlers.
Of where?
The Antlers?
My dear, as chairman of the Cartography Division at St. Sylvester's, I can assure you no such place exists.
It was destroyed.
Oh, by what, pray tell? A blizzard? A dragon? A giant boulder, perhaps?
That! The Antlers made the mistake of sitting exactly where Kermit wanted to build a section of his massive highway system.
Then you should relish disintegrating his hideous visage.
What is your method of destruction, Mr. Leroy? Rip it apart with your bare hands?
A curse from ages past.
Combustible?
Sandpaper.
Sandpaper?
Sandpaper. I spread a poultice of pulverized sand onto a scroll. This abrasive helps me break down the skull into a fine powder to dissolve in water. Simply smashing it would be fun and all, but we need to get it down into tiny, tiny particles.
He thought of it while picking the skin from his feet.
That is unnecessary information, Allegra.
We cannot have even a sliver of head remaining. The head of a monarch is an infection on society. Even the merest trace takes hold of a susceptible mind. The deed of today must stay with today.
I still think we burned the sucker.
I've explained this to you. We could use flame, but and it would get rid of the flesh, but unless we have some kind of white, hot, blinding hellfire, it won't get rid of the bones.
The smell, too, would be grotesque. You'd never get it out of the drapes.
I do it outside.
Your master is correct.
Excuse you?
Common flame will not destroy human bone.
Lewis may be my boss, but he is not my master.
We're closer than that.
Yeah, he's my bossy friend.
Only because my shop keeps the two of us fed.
And you three will all respect me as a peer, right? Because I will soon be seated at your table.
Assuming your task is completed to satisfaction, you must hurry if you intend to sit at our table. Otherwise, the monarchical atmosphere persists, and we're right back where we started.
What are the tongs for?
I wouldn't call those tongs if I were you.
Are you mocking my implement of ghastly auscultation?
Auscultation, the act of listening for hidden sounds, from the Latin word auscultatio. Or is that Dutch? Everything's Dutch these days.
You just talk like that, huh?
Silence, academic. These connect me to the voices of the dead like insectoid antennae.
You talk to the dead with kitchen tongs.
That's enough.
What? Look! Clack, clack, clack. I'm a necromancer. I'm learning the secret of the ghost.
Necromancers do not go clack! You only wish you had powers like me.
Stop mocking your fellow council member.
Oh, come on, I'm goofing.
Don't come on me.
Okay, Lewis, I'll try.
My hallowed, ancient practices are not toys for idle minds. Observe. Ice breath, ice breath. It's a very nice breath. It is only my breath. It's a very chilly breeze. I have the signal.
I don't hear any words.
Is that the king?
Sounds like Alfar's stomach after drinking cream.
That's only when I drink bad cream.
I think he's growling.
Oh, how cute.
Can I try? I want to say words.
No, peasant woman.
Oh, you think you're better than me?
We don't have to. Our treasure chests announce it.
I've got the signal. We shall return at nightfall to check your work, Mr. Leroy.
We'll get right on it.
And maybe make some dinner while you're at it.
Food, Dr. Alvar. We're en route to give speeches at the town banquet. And after we're done there, there's an evening gala with a full spread. Along with your standard dancing and fornicating.
Perhaps a course to settle besottled stomachs. What say you, Pichula?
I could do soup.
Fine. Prepare some soup.
Prepare some soup.
It's fine, we can do that.
Seriously?
I mean, I could do soup as well.
Fine.
See that the deed is done. I do not wish to hear his voice ever again.
What's wrong with making some small dish?
I don't want to make them food. I'm not their chef.
The council should exist with mutual respect. Shared food creates shared existence. You're a great cook. Just make them something special and they'll love you for it. Come on. Sanding a human head is going to take forever.
Is there a method to sanding a human head? Like a starting place?
I don't know. I've never done it before. I'm thinking of the totality of the task. I'll start with the fleshiest bits. His cheeks. You take this coin and go run an errand for me.
What?
Go buy some sassafras.
Sassafras?
Yes, sassafras.
Why sassafras?
Because it's rotting. It smells like death in here, and I like sassafras.
I want to destroy the head! I really hate this man, Lewis. Like hate. Burning, thumping, twitching hate. Please let me destroy the head with you.
Your job today was to be fast, but this cannot be rushed.
I won't rush. I'm helpful.
No, you're not. You run your mouth and you get in the way. You have a poor track record with destroying things you hate.
This is not taking out some cruel stable master and his awful friends. I am no longer a child. Please let me at him. I don't even know what sassafras looks like.
Then ask like an adult. When you go to the shop, just ask. Fine, forget it. I'll go. Sand the fucking head.
Thank you. How do I do that?
The sandpaper. What do you mean, how? We've been talking about the sandpaper.
Okay, calm down.
The sandpaper is good to go. There's more drawing out back. Hopefully you drained most of the blood, but slop anything else into this bucket. We'll boil him in water when I get back. I will be back soon.
All hail King Kermit VI. When you ordered that road built for my home in Antlers, I objected and cried and screamed. Your horses heard my screams as they were whipped to pull down our house, but the men who spoke for you did not. My mother and grandfather were crushed by the roofs above their heads, but you didn't hear the bone snap, did you? Would the sound bother you? Would it haunt your nightmares like it did mine? What does a king even dream? What do your nightmares look like? Do they look like this? Oh, shit! Jesus, you little freak! Oh, God. Your breath smells like shit. Hey. Get a load of this. That is a massive gold tooth. What far-off corner of the world did you terrorize to get this? Is this pilfering? which I could very easily do. Am I robbing a tyrant or emulating him? Oh, Lewis would want me to give it to the council. That's probably the right answer. But why? They're rich. I'm not. But if I keep this thing, am I continuing your cycle, Kermit? Am I as bad as you? This doesn't have to be a one-sided conversation, Kermit! King! King! Where are you? I'm trying to mock you, you piece of shit. Let's see. Ice Breath stood here and held them up with both hands and then chanted. Oh, how did it go? She said breath a bunch. Ice Breath. Ice Breath. Something, something, ice breath. Something, something, ice breath. Something, something, freeze. Nope, not close enough. Shut up. Get the... ice breath. Ice breath. Ice breath. Rice breath. Ice breath. Ice breath. It's a very nice breath. It is only my breath. It's a very chilly breeze. Breeze. Shit, I meant breeze. Oh, did I do it?
I rise
I think I did.
and greet the visage of the throne. Tread lightly through the river of your realm, where snakes do bite and crocs drag fawns to hell.
Are you really talking to me right now?
Strange questions. You can only hear a yes.
You talk exactly like I always imagined. Like a total creep.
I speak with apt refinement. Do you mind? It's simply how I've spoken all my life.
Well, now you're dead, you slimy sack of shit. I fucking saw it too. I saw that big blade fall through your neck, then I hauled your pathetic, rotting head back to this dingy little apothecary.
Such disrespect you show to he that sat upon the throne you crave to flatten next.
We're not the same. I'm one of the Revolutionary Council. There's no throne anymore.
I must be blind, or else I swear I see thine table blessed with toothsome jewelry.
Does big baby butthead want his golden pacifier back? Forget it, you oppressive basket stain. I mock the ghost of a king, even if he hollers thief in my ear as I choke to death from laughter.
The choice one makes to keep a shred of king will differ not from keeping everything. Do you reject the power you behold? That power now descends from power old.
Even you can see I behold power. No wonder you ruled while the council did your bidding.
Before the rabble cried for royal blood, there was a trust.
That trust has been undone. Oh, damn it to hell! No, I'm doing that stupid rhythm thing. The trust between a divine ruler and its people is gone. How was I supposed to trust the man on the throne as I sat shivering on the tree stumps that grew from the dirt on my floor?
Before you get too mouthy and ashamed, perhaps you could please share with me your name.
Allegra of Antlers.
The Antlers, did you say? I can't recall encountering such a name at royal balls.
That's because you destroyed it! The home of my mother and grandfather was pulled down by horses bearing your insignia! They were crushed, you beast!
Did morning's act of treason heal your pain? Or does this little tantrum make it wane?
A ghost like you has no sense of justice.
A ghost desires nothing else but justice. This was the work of petty narcissists who think they speak for all that doth exist.
Well, when you're right, but it's pretty rich of you to call people narcissists.
Perhaps you
Remember the royal Hermit road that flattened my home?
Perhaps you know those three were at my hand. They supped and drank and lived off my command. I showered them with luxuries divine, the finest hookers, the finest wines. I gave them each appointments of their dreams. I made them matter. I, who they demean. But egotism grows like gutter slime and peppers plots of power in their minds. I heard your small confession of distrust, and know you know their heads are full of dust.
You heard what I said about the council? But I didn't have the tongs then. Get out of my head!
How well aware are you of their comports? How much they treat your misery like sport?
If they're smart, they'll treat me with respect.
I oft consider Laramont a horse. Beautiful, endowed, good for naught but force.
Oh, don't talk to me about his dick.
Why not? He will. It's where his blood doth flow. The blood he drank in battle made it grow. And Ice Breath might not come when she is called. She's more than likely peeping through the walls.
You're trying to mess with me. Get me to distrust the council. How do I stop this thing? Ice breath! Ice breath! Stop saying words! Breath!
Professor Dr. Alfar shocked me most. I should have guessed he wanted every post. If it were me, they never have my trust. Alas, I sit here, nothing but a bust.
Well, of course you don't trust them.
You strike me far too cunning for a fool.
What? Why would someone so charmless try flattering me?
Because, my dear, I caught you robbing me.
I did not take the tooth. It's right there. Lewis will want me to give it to the council.
Take the tooth.
What?
Take the tooth. This manufactured part of me will be a mighty sword for you to take command of half-heart councils lacking half a thought.
Take command of the council? Well, all I wanted was for them to respect me. I don't need a sword.
A sword, a pen, a passioned, fervent speech, but lead how you see fit. Ambition showed its most precocious face when you removed the shiny and most gentle brand of lute. Allegra. When you hold that royal tooth, you wear the power you assumed forsook.
I do? Forsook.
A tiny piece of me is all it takes to be the leader you cannot forsake.
You're toying with me and I will not stand for it. We're done here. Ice breath! Ice breath! Stop saying words! Breath!
Do you deserve to have your wishes heard? Or are you simply bleeding with the herd?
Oh, fuck this. Stop talking to me! He doesn't understand my power. Only I understand my power. I'm smarter than the king. I'm better than the king. I'm kinder than the king. And I will help the people he has failed.
Now that's sassafras. Why aren't you saving the king?
He screamed at me.
He screamed at you?
Well, spoke. The king spoke to me.
When?
What do you mean when? Just now.
The decapitated head?
Yes.
That decapitated head?
Yes. I shouldn't have to specify which head.
How?
I don't know. Maybe Ice Breath didn't turn him off.
But you're not a necromancer.
But we heard him growling when Ice Breath did her thing.
Have you been horsing around with the head this entire time?
Please don't say horsing around.
But you haven't even started.
I took this out of his mouth.
You shouldn't be pillaging.
I'm not.
But what? We don't do things the way you did things. If times really are changing, we squelch things that brought us here in the first place.
These are ill-gotten gains. Well, should it go to the grave with him?
Should
to benefit you and you alone.
Well, think of all he's stolen from us. Homes will never get back. Family will never get back.
Allegra, I'm acutely aware of what I have lost in this world, but we are not the only losers here.
Aren't we entitled to some justification for our misery?
We played a small part in the justice of his death.
Well, King Kermit sentenced people to death too. By your logic, we should get rid of that? King Kermit ate breakfast and took indoor shits. Should we do away with those?
You're being very combative. I want to work with you. What do you want, the tooth?
It brings us up to the rest of the council's level.
I know you think you're being slick, but betting that Laramont will not be looking for this tooth is a bad bet. Give the council the tooth. You won't get away with pocketing it.
With this tooth, we can be leaders of the council.
The council doesn't have leaders.
Do you want anarchy? Aren't you tired of living in the shadows of people who just got luckier with birth than you?
Control what you can control, and we've been given a whole lot of it all of a sudden. All of us have to take responsibility for each other, no matter what we think of that. I mean, that's what I'm working towards. A world of lives devoted to everyone but their own. Can you handle that?
What if people don't want to work for me?
You're projecting.
I am not.
Look, I get it. You're feeling pretty chuffed up about carrying the king's head, but these events today are not about you.
Hey, don't!
Oh, yeah. Get going on the head. I'm gonna go back outside to finish up the sandpaper.
Such a fucking asshole, Lewis. It's easy to act all high and mighty about the good, about the collective greaterness, but you're in position to boss people around.
Employer, servant, leader, or a friend. We hope for their allegiance in the end.
No, you stay shut up!
Will you, Allegra Antlers, take the reign? Or else defer to Louis once again?
He wants to be equal with me, with everyone. And he doesn't like Louis.
You dunce!
Hey!
You Claude! You coward all the same! Shalt thou resign to live in coward shame? Or does Allegra hold the power to construct a world that caters more to you?
If I take this tooth, will you please shut up? Lewis will understand when he's ruling by my side.
Greetings. I am Petula Icebreath, High Magus of the Crescent Mausoleum. Honest and reverent. As we celebrate this morning's execution, I and my fellow senior members wish to prepare for you a brand new future that we hope will be comfortably familiar. For me, that future is one of vigilance. Necromancers like myself listen to the words others cannot hear. We learn the secrets of the past from its primary sources. Indeed, it was I who warned General Laramont and Dr. Alfar of King Kermit's intent to shipwreck each of us in the middle of the Southern Sea, having received word from a recently deceased admiral. Without our leadership, the country would sink with us. So here we are today, free of the monarchy and ready and willing to serve our glorious population by ratting on anyone who deserves it. I know monarchist worm among the crowd. That person who got too close to you and coughed. Perhaps they know of your disdain for kingship and wish to poison you. The new neighbor that is louder than the previous neighbor. Perhaps their plan is to run you out of town. The cafe owner who conveniently runs out of chocolate croissants just before you arrive. Perhaps they have a personal vendetta after you accuse them and their employee of stealing the hat you forgot you left at home that day. Should we allow such distrustful people into a better society? To that, I say absolutely not. And I encourage you to tell everyone of their sins. The king is dead, and soon his toxic strain of leadership will die too. But there are still those who foolishly believe in a king, and they must be smoked out like rats in the walls we lurk behind. If you are a literate citizen, purchase a journal. Record the movements of all around you. Gather in the public square and share your observations. Learn the secrets of the past to predict the future, because an unsavory past guarantees an unsavory future. It is likely that innocent people will be caught in such a dragnet. You simply do not have the listening skills of a necromancer and will misjudge your fellow citizens. It happens. But if you are an innocent person executed for treason and pernicious rudeness, I will speak to you personally and learn of your innocence post-mortem. We then shall publish volumes of The Innocent to share our errors, hone our listening skills, and only rob civil liberties from those who deserve it. Until then, enjoy the day and the glorious freedoms we have bestowed unto you.
Did you just get to the orphanage? What's your name? I'm Lewis. I get put in the corner for frowning even when I don't think I'm frowning. I think you're in my room because Philip started coughing one day, so they hit him, and then he started coughing more. So then they dumped his head under the water and wrapped him up in sheets and took him away. And I guess he went home because I haven't seen him since. He was my friend, but I guess you're my friend now. I can take your stuff to our room if you'd like. Don't worry. I'm very helpful. If we have to live next to each other, we should rely on each other. But I get where you're coming from. And I don't really trust the wardens when they tell me to, so I get why your sister like this.
Suspicious?
Huh?
I think you mean suspicious.
My name's Louis Leroy. Now you tell me yours.
Allegra,
Why are you here?
I threw up outside.
They put you in the orphanage for throwing up? That's weird, because you're gonna throw up a lot here. I'm sorry, Allegra. Oh, you're in the corner for throwing up. Why are you in the orphanage? They said my mama was a sinner, so she couldn't be my mom anymore. So I guess she had a lot of sins. That was a long time ago. So she wrote me a lot of letters. They took a lot of them, but you want to know a secret? I kept two. friend. Don't tell anyone. We're not supposed to touch each other.
My house got torn down.
By who?
Horses.
That's awful.
The king's horses.
They won't like it if you say bad things about the king.
He ruined everything. My whole life.
I know. I know a lot of people who think like you.
It's not fair. He destroyed the only home I have. But he has so many houses that I'd have to tear down, so many more buildings than him. But I want to burn it all down.
You think this corner is bad? I haven't seen anything. I'll help you.
Thanks.
Can I help you?
Okay.
They think we got nobody, but we got each other. Let's see.
Do you want to hear a secret?
Okay.
I had a dream on my way to the orphanage. I was a magical queen with so many powers. I'd fly over the country and watch over everyone, but my people were hungry and mean to each other, so I held a giant feast to feed everyone, and I poured my magical jar of joy into the food, and little bits of joy went into everyone, and they were happy and full.
I want to go to your queen feast someday.
You'll take care of it? I don't have a lot, I just don't want to lose it.
We got each other's backs. I'll see you later. Don't tell anybody I touched you.
What's fair? What's fair? What's justified and earned? A recompensing, reasoned price to pay when those who get your trust in me have turned into hissing devils and betrayed. My palace chambers opened wide to them for slumber, hunger, flaking sundry lusts. Majestic ears swung wider open then to open up a private, sacred trust. But weak and facile minds are prone to see a parasitic, germinating vibe. When hands reach forth with fuel to fire their greed, they bear no qualms to turn and bite of mine. The hands that feed are hands that help survive. To cut cuts off how one's alive. I feel a chill within this drafty cave.
I thought that was your little sing-song I heard. I'm already imagining words in my head in your pretentious patter. But shut it, you're gonna get me in trouble for borrowing ice press tongs. And you're probably cold because we cut off your face. We tried sanding it down, but it was a bloody mess that ruined the paper, so we hacked off the flesh. We're burning it after sanding down your skull, then you'll really be silent.
And if I choose to not obey your terms, you need obedience from all your worms.
Good people will obey a natural-born leader like myself.
Leadership! That wretched phantom limb. Do you possess those skills you sense within?
Are you asking if I can lead? I've dreamt of this my entire life. To pull the levers, to test my skill at these failing policies around me. I've been hungry, so I demand the opposite. I've been freezing, so I demand the opposite. Everything I've ever imagined, where I live, how I work, who I meet, has been with the lone goal of improving my life.
A charming goal, no doubt, but still, it lacks a warm, inspiring tone to guide your flax.
You're about as inspiring as a brick to the face. Your flax killed you.
I underestimated their soft brains and left them room to plot and pry their gains. But if you chance to draw their baby gaze, the power that you wield will cut the way.
Oh, sure. In which way is that?
The opposite of hunger you describe. The opposite of freezing through your life, where you decide what time the ship sets sail and whether certain assholes deserve jail. You worked a workhouse, if I am correct. Was there a warden that you wished to wreck?
You mean one of your wardens?
Yes.
Gregory the stable master! He called me spit shit after he made me clean the manure shovel with my tongue, and I vomited. I glared at him, I couldn't help it, but he'd see and he'd go, "That's 7 glares today, spit shit. 7 more bales of hay." Ugh. If I was still working when the sun came up, he'd make me clean the horses. We were supposed to rotate jobs, but Gregory wouldn't let me leave, and the wardens at the other posts punished me.
And if you could shut Greg inside a cell, would you command it on his way to hell?
Oh, he's already there. He died in a fire. Only Lewis and I survived.
How lucky you accomplished an escape. Assuming luck was shepherd of your fate. You might assume I know the feeling well of watching hated foes ship off for hell. Indeed, I know the different sense of glee twixt justice from the world and that from me. With that tooth, that rush you felt shall thrive, and you shall rule with passion and with drive.
This tooth is a fake! It is not a real part of you. It'll elevate me to the council. I'll be rich, they'll respect me, nothing more.
You're not making any headway.
Headway.
It'd be funnier if this goal was a pile of dust. Since you're making the dish for the council, I decided to get some groceries. I decided just a basic soup should satisfy them. Why don't you get started on that while I stand the head?
No!
Okay.
You do the groceries, I'm sanding the head!
No, you're not. I heard you in here talking to yourself.
Please.
What are you doing?
I'm practicing!
Practicing what?
Leading!
No, you're not. You're just bossing me around.
It's what you do. I know you don't like to hear it, but it's what you do.
Don't boss people around. It's not how things work anymore. The council is a team.
But they're idiots, Lewis!
Then look smarter than that.
I can do one better. I can carouse them by making them think I'm one of them.
Don't start plotting. It's corrupt. Yes, I saw.
If I keep it, I'll be on their level. And if I'm smarter than them, maybe someday I get to be the one. I'll tell you a secret, Lewis. I want to be the one.
The one what?
The voice! The central voice! The loudest voice! The decision maker! I want to say where hospitals go and how much money people get. I want to start markets and trade with other countries. I want to clothe the freezing and feed the hungry. And I can get there with this tooth.
No, get off this road, Allegra. This tooth is just making you greedy. All this being rich does make you greedy.
I'm not greedy. I want to share power with you. You're my friend. I'll bring you up with me.
No, we're already up. Yes, the council may have been drunk when they signed us. Yes, they may be fucking useless, but we signed a contract. They invited us on that team.
Some revolution. Our hopes and dreams are tied to the approving whims of 3 shitheads instead of just the one.
So we did call into a function of like egalitarian economy this morning. It's day fucking 1. It's too early to be cynical. Remember the blade. Remember it falling? The sound of it slicing. The sound of the thump of the meat hitting your basket. I couldn't see shit, but I heard it as clear as the voice in my head. Remember that joy. I know you felt it. Remember that hope because it's alive in everything you do right now. Let's see how much freedom we can get before we get the limitations.
Limitations? I don't want limitations. I have a vision for the future, and it's a good vision.
We all have a vision for the future, but no two one of us are ever going to have the same vision, ever. Not once. But we live in the future. This country has only ever known monarchy, and now we have to go on differently. What do you suggest with the fools who don't want to change? Do we leave them in the past? Do they deserve prison? Torture?
If they liked King Kermit, then yeah.
How about death? You want to be the leader that lines them up against a righteous wall and takes them all out.
Stop it! You just call the execution a joy.
I called it hope! Sick as it may sound, that this might be the end of a world where our only choice is work or death, but impatience will make everything we fought for null and void.
Impatience.
Uh-huh.
Our whole lives, Louis.
You are finally getting what you waited for. Allegra of Antlers! How many sickly orphans can take seats in brand new governments? Kings and queens have been pooping out new world leaders forever and means nothing to them. We get to do it differently because it's special for us. Fuck the other three. We're here too, and there's a future where everyone like us joins us.
And what's your vision for the future?
Me?
Yeah. What's this future where everyone like us joins us?
Goodness, where to start? Toilets.
Toilets?
That's right. Public toilets. With running water everywhere. I mean, we live in utter filth. People pissing and shitting wherever they feel like it. Stuff flowing through our streets, poisoning our rivers. Our bodies don't want the waste, so why do we keep living in it? We deserve a healthy country. The king had running water, toilets that deposited themselves, sinks, not wells, hot and cold water. We deserve to live like kings without acting like them. Growing up with clear water. We deserve to have it everywhere, and I mean everywhere. Toilets and bathing. Too many of us don't have a bucket, let alone a home. Those people deserve homes, and I want to build them. But in the meantime, they deserve to bathe. How could someone expect to get employed if they're not given the freedom to bathe? But I don't want some poor soul without a home cleaning these public facilities. Oh no! I want the wealthy to do it. The criminally wealthy. Not toss them in the king's prison system, because the prison system is just sanctioned slavery. And to justify the prison system is to justify slavery. What then to do with the criminals who leech wealth from the impoverished hordes? Make them clean the shitters for a living wage. And not their inflated sense of living, but a real and living wage.
Toilets.
We cannot keep this to the Allegra. We cannot keep a single piece of the monarchy. Otherwise, we're back to the same money machine, and we're back to being pawns.
I'm tired of the money machine.
Me too.
I'll share the wealth, Louis.
You're a good at Allegra Antlers. Come on. Let's get this head done.
Okay. I'm sorry, Louis. The day got to me. Let's destroy him once and for all!
My friends, my beautiful, beautiful friends. King Kermit the Sixth is no more. His sticky blood still coats the head hole of the guillotine. You may lick it clean if you'd like. But today is not a day to dwell on the past. It is a day to focus intently on a glorious future. That is why I want to talk to you all about beaches. I have stormed many beaches, my bare chest absorbing the sun as my soldiers ward off the arrows. Oh, the games we'd play after the inevitable slaughter! Swimming races, log lifting competitions. Who can dig the deepest hole? These moments of leisure were important for health and morale, but they also served a greater purpose. They assured the conquered peoples that their new rulers were vivacious and cheerful. They'd watch us from the city walls with mouths agog, dreaming of our beautiful bodies. Instantly they admired us, and we knew we had won. It is fair to say that life under King Kermit was not a beach. His castle is cold, and beaches are warm. Well, most beaches. Some beaches are cold. It's a very bitter experience. And we'd kill with anger on those days, and the people could not admire us because it was far too chilly to undress. Under the rule of your revolutionary council, it will never be too chilly, and people will often undress. Oh, our people are weak and miserable. Our merchants, soldiers, and families all sick with sadness and also sickness. The king restricted all pleasure. With him gone, there will be taverns again, festivals again, theater again. Our parents spoke of an age where greenery existed within the city itself, where children were not punished for laughing, where the elderly were not banned from games of chance, and where young lovers were not jailed for public canoodling. And when I trump upon foreign lands once again, we shall meet no resistance. The legend of our life's a beach lifestyle will precede us wherever we go, and they will say, "Look, it is the famous General Laramont, the one with the big chin." No longer will we suffer dour kings. We will flourish under a happy, healthy junta. Oh. Enjoy the pleasures of the day, my friends. That pleasure is now permanent.
Laramont, my wand is missing.
Louis, wake up!
Are we in trouble?
Shh, no, the warden's already passed by. What are you doing?
I'm trying to make glue. It's actually a cloud right now.
Well, stop playing apothecary and come look! The stars are falling. It happens this time every year. Grandpa and I used to look at them.
Where? I don't see.
Here, look through this. Mom put Grandpa's magnifying glass on her gold chain and gave it to me. Be careful, it's special.
Oh, I saw one. Oh my goodness.
Pretty neat, huh?
No, one of the stars fell.
Oh, that's supposed to happen.
No, one of the stars fell and hit the village. It's on fire.
No, falling stars don't do that.
Something must have happened.
Shh. You're supposed to look up there at the stars. Grandpa and me always counted the stars until they stopped.
What happened when the stars fell from where you're from?
What do you mean?
What did your grandpa do about the fires?
I told you, the stars don't cause fires. People do.
Lightning's a kind of star and it makes fire.
Stop worrying about the fire and worry about the stars.
You need to stop being so bossy all the time. You act like the wardens.
No, I don't.
Do too?
Do not.
Yeah, kinda. Over there.
I can't see. Give me back my necklace.
There's more small fires. Oh, it's torches.
See, there's your answer. Now give me back my magnifying glass. It's hard to see the stars with just my eyes.
It's people on horses.
Ugh.
They have torches.
Louis!
Shh. Do you want the warden to make you do a handstand over the chamber pot again?
Please just give me back my magnifying glass.
Fine. Here. Don't bother with me if you don't want to share.
I want to share, but you're not sharing right.
I think they got the windmill.
What?
The church is the highest building we can see, and it's on fire. Who would want to burn down the windmill and why?
Just because you love solving problems does not mean you need to go looking for them. Please look at the stars with me. I want someone to look at the stars with me.
Okay, I'm sorry.
It's what Grandpa and me used to do.
Okay, I'm sorry. Do you see any?
No. They better not be done already. Oh, yes! Oh, there's 3 right there. Did you see?
Maybe.
Here, try the glass again, but be careful and only look at the stars.
Oh, I saw one.
Pretty fun, huh?
It went across that way.
Pretty fun.
I think those are the king's horses. With the torches, it's so unfair that the king gets to burn down things he doesn't like. Wait, what day is it?
The hell should I know?
Shh, don't swear. Look at the both of us for that.
I don't know. It's summer. It's been summer for weeks and weeks. I don't know. No one ever tells me the time around here.
You get to feast day. The king hates feast days.
But the fat dope loves to eat.
That's not funny. He doesn't like people celebrating things that aren't him. Mama used to take me to feast days.
Do you eat?
Yeah. There's food. But there's also games and animals to ride.
What kind of animals?
Donkeys mostly. One time there was a unicorn.
Shh, the warden's here lying. They'll box your ears.
No, there was. They put a pointed hat on a donkey.
That's not a unicorn. That's a donkey with a hat on.
Okay, but it was still pretty fun. Mom talks about feast days in her letters.
Is that why you want to do sad stuff, like look at burning villages?
I don't know. Don't the stars make you sad?
Missing them makes me sadder. Hide!
Are they gone yet? Shh.
Wait. I think so. Hurry up! I gotta see the end of the stars. Oh no!
What?
Grandpa's glass! I broke it!
Oh no. But you didn't mean to.
But I didn't want to either. Now it's trash, just like everything else in this stupid place.
Shh, they'll come back.
This was the most special thing I kept of them, and I ruined it.
Maybe we can fix it.
No, we can't. And it doesn't matter anyway, because we're both just gonna die here with these mean people. Because no one cares about us, because we're just poor pieces of crud.
We're better than crud, Allegra. Here, can I see it?
Here, take it. I don't want to look at it. I'm gonna sleep. I want to forget about the stars and everyone.
The glass fell out.
No shit.
Shh. No, the glass isn't broken. It just fell out.
But I broke the metal thing.
Okay, but if I push real hard, ow! If I push real hard without hurting myself, there, it's staying in place.
It's not the same.
But, oh, if I push real hard, and then I use some of the glue that I'm trying to make for the cobbler's shoes. There, it's staying in place. Here, can you see the stars?
They're still falling.
What happens at the end?
Oh, there's a whole bunch of them. They go real fast, then poof, done. Lewis, it's happening.
You describe them to me. You describe things like stars and dreams so good.
They flash, leave lines, and vanish. There's a bunch of them, weaving together like a loom, so many that the lines almost stay in place in the sky. I see 8 lines. 9, 10. Oh, what comes after 10? 1, 2, 3. It's over.
We gotta find out what day it is.
Why?
So you can show me the stars and it'll be nice.
You're nice.
And you're bossy. But sometimes nice too.
I am nice. Can you tell me about your last feast day? I want to hear about it.
That.
Oh. I'm sorry, Lewis.
It's the king's fault.
I'm gonna take you to feast day someday because I'm nice. We'll eat the food and ride the donkeys.
And the unicorns.
Sure. And then we can go up on that big hill at night, far away from this place, and watch the stars fall. Hurry! Good night, Lewis.
Drink.
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 Knock, knock, knock.
Oh, more wine.
Who is it?
Come in.
You don't know who it is.
It's the sommelier ice breath. Show some humanity.
Mr. Leroy.
Ah, the apothecary.
Did you apothecary us some more wine?
No, that's not what an apothecary does.
Lady Agatha of Reykjavik once turned sulfur into a refined potable, but alas, you are no woman of the north.
As you requested, I'm updating you on the progress with the head. The flesh is all gone. Allegra and I are finishing up sanding the head, and it will be all done by the time you come around for the soup that Allegra is making you. She's resting up a bit right now.
Oh, good. Finish the job.
We will. You will see it's going swimmingly. So, when do we get initiated into the council? Are we coming to the gala with you three tonight?
Oh, goodness, Mr. Leroy. You're not going to be on the Revolutionary Council.
Thank God for that.
What do you mean?
These are fake.
Fake?
Fake. Ficative. Unreal. Those are not my antennae. Those are your kitchen tongs.
Little friend is trying to wield Magus Ice Breath's power.
To usurp me and thus the rest of the council.
Which, as you'll see right here in your contract, is grounds for dismissal.
Dismissal?
Allegra of Antlers stole Ice Breath's bug ears to do God knows what power grab, and now you both must be punished.
We really must thank Allegra of Antlers. She absolutely saved the day here.
She stole Icepress tongs.
Stop saying tongs! They are my instrument of ghastly auscultation.
And in doing so, she corrected our intoxicated mistake of allowing peasants onto the council.
I can't believe she did this. But she's destroying the head. Oh no.
What is the matter?
She said she spoke with the king.
See, there's proof.
That's not proof. That's proof she's a liar. The wand worked for me alone. She cannot hear the king.
But
Unless she hears the king in her head and his asinine little rhymes.
But she's doing the work. Allegra likes to fool around, but she's keeping with your terms.
She's broken our terms.
You can get your ghastly instruments of accordions or whatever tonight. I will make her turn them over. Don't worry. Allegra will be an honest, respecting member of the council.
No.
She will not.
Isn't it glorious? Gosh, we were all so worried we'd have peasants making decisions for the country. Brave little peasants, no doubt, what with burning down the workhouse and making this life for yourself here in the capital. You're a special peasant, Mr. Leroy. Capable of destroying the royal head.
But never facing it.
Forgive our winish swagger for rewarding you with a position so ill-suited to someone like you.
Wait, you're not kicking us both off the council? Are you kicking us both off the council?
We absolutely can. Correct, Doctor.
Correct.
And we are.
But Allegra and I did exactly what you asked. With great risk to her, might I add. What if citizens this morning saw her with the head? She could have been killed as a monarchist.
She signed a contract and broke the terms.
You're twisting words.
That's what words are for.
You can't kick us both off the council because she stole Icepress wand.
And why not?
Because it's not fair. We killed the king for a fair society, and you're doing it wrong already.
Oh, come on, Mr. Leroy.
It's true.
He has a small point, Laramont.
Well, does he? You're our master of contract law.
Well, yes. I read the contract and understand both its written and unwritten intentions. Mr. Leroy is correct. We do want a society better than Kermit. Do you feel that Mr. Leroy has anything to do with the theft?
Yes.
Based on what?
Your associations.
Based on what?
You associate with a known criminal.
Be that as it may, we were talking with Mr. Leroy when the wand was likely stolen. Alfar, what are you thinking?
Mr. Leroy, you are correct. It is unfair of us to evict you from our presence from the crimes of your compatriot. But Icepress is also correct. You associate with known felons.
Felons, plural? Name them. Name multiple felons that I associate with.
The Antlers woman, et al. I don't know their names. Please, I'm trying to assist you in this matter. I propose we offer you a clerkship for your apothecary troubles today.
Clerkship?
Clerkship.
What are the responsibilities behind a clerkship?
Oh, the necessaries. Dictation, messaging, catering, general office management, and ideally some light cleaning.
What are the council duties?
The council? Why we legislate.
No, what are the legislative duties of the clerkship?
Well, none.
Perhaps you might benefit from an internship, from seeing firsthand how duties are meted out. Yeah?
All in favor of Alfar's clerkship proposal?
Aye.
All opposed.
Oh my god, that's cute.
You have no vote, Mr. Leroy. And even if you did, do the math. Can you add?
Either you accept the clerkship, or you return to your apothecary, where a selfish Helion makes you pay for her sins.
The decision is yours.
I do hope you'll take the clerkship. It's a tall order to find someone smarter than Lewis the Apothecary. You're a very special peasant, Mr. Leroy.
Can I discuss it with Allegra? I'll have my answer for you when you come over for soup.
To soup?
We'll talk to you this evening, Mr. Leroy. Dr. Alfar, I believe you're due to address the crowd next.
I sail and soar as if I'm in a dream. A magic queen en route to join a team. A tiny rest, for we have done the deed, the gruesome task required for us to lead.
All hail, Allegra of Antlers.
That kingly voice! But how? You're in the bin! And why, pray tell, do I now speak like him?
All hail, Allegra of Antlers. The wisest, bravest, and most deserving voice in the land.
Appear, fell king, and quickest desperate haunt. For magic and my fists do what I want.
What you want is flying by your side.
That golden tooth doth speak with Kermit's tongue?
Are you an important person, Allegra of Antlers?
Yes.
Are you an important person, Allegra of Antlers?
My dearest mother, trampled by your steeds, said true importance rests inside of me.
Did she? Weird. Did you get this from her?
Return my glass to me or face my wrath!
Whatever could a little girl like you do with a thing like this? I could read important documents or examine precious stones with a glass like this. A poor little girl like you couldn't appreciate a glass like this.
Your days of robbing brazenly are done. Now comes the time Allegra has her fun.
Yes, you and I are clearly on opposite ends of the moral compass. At least I possess the kingly wisdom to seize an opportunity.
The king and I oppose like flame and ice, and not what important make these things alike.
If you prove you are important, I'll return this chain you lost. Important people watch out for each other. And you're an angry little girl. But anger does not make you important. Do I seem angry to you?
Your spectral self holds fear where eyes should be.
Is fear how I know you're important? Do it better. Oh, that's the ticket. Again, please. Extraordinary. Reminds me of the anguished lioness when she discovered I felled her brother. Their heads hang side by side in my bedchamber. I do not think you are important, little girl.
Ghastly tyrant's thoughts impact me not. Return that precious object I have lost!
Oh, I'm terribly sorry, little girl. You don't matter.
I will not suffer these indignities. I'm greater now than you shall ever be. I'm better. I'm better. I'm better. Louis! Louis, he took it!
Who?
The king!
Shut up about the goddamn king!
My necklace with the magnifying glass!
From the orphanage?
Yes, it's gone and he took it!
Lost it in the fucking fire! Break the fuck up!
Wait. I'm in your shop? And I'm not speaking in verse anymore? You're back. Is it almost soup time?
I just got back from updating the council on our progress. Allegra, did you seal Aspertons?
No.
Fucking these?
Okay, you're running to play necromancer!
No, I says these things only work for her. You aren't talking to anybody but yourself.
What? No, I talked to the king!
Oh, so you're agreeing with the king now?
No, I wanted to shove it in his face that we took him down, so sue me!
You're doing what better than suing us? They kicked us off the council.
Ice breath?
The entire council, you thief! And let me tell you, they were thrilled at the opportunity to kick us off. You fucked this entire thing up in a matter of hours.
What did I fuck up? I don't understand!
We're off the council!
But we destroyed the head like they asked!
Yes, and for my trouble, I'm getting some strange little alternative position. Something they call a clerkship. You had better learn how to be an apothecary fast, because that's the best you'll do. You know, here, keep your trinket. Use it to pay for an assistant better than yourself. Have you started the soup yet?
They're still coming?
Yup!
Shit!
Greetings from the Academy. I'm sure the crowd before me doesn't need an introduction from a luminary such as myself. But for the unfortunate few amongst you, I am Dr. Hieronymus Alfar, Grand Orator of the Department of Wit, Preceptor of the Great Order of Great Deed, Member of the Bureau of Word Borrowers, and co-chair of the Synod of St. Poppins with a focus on impotency. It is my learned opinion that my curriculum vitae immediately qualifies me to join any revolutionary council on the globe. And most probably amongst the stars, once I reach that great unknown. However, in deference to your new democratic authority, I shall, at your honor, lay forth my proposal for a better, greater nation. Allow me to begin with a cherished quote from Saint Gerald of Belt. A dense and thoughtless population is like silt in the river of progress, or something like that. The king demanded a stranglehold on knowledge, where only the preternatural and chosen minds were permitted into the great halls of the academy to peruse the tomes of history and statistics, biology and chemistry, zoology and cryptozoology, pharmacology and witchcraft. I take pride in my expertise in these fields, yet I can't help but feel a pang of guilt whenever I encounter the miserable stupidity of the public writ large. Why must I know everything when you all know nothing? When I visit the wig maker, they know of no styling traditions beyond their very own. The fishmonger takes no appreciation or interest in the migratory pattern of the trout. Not even my carriage driver has absorbed the wisdom I consistently dispense. The king has denied his people the educational foundation to understand the world around them. That is by design, of course, for the king benefited from an ignorant population. I do as well, I admit. Knowledge gathering is my trade and passion, and I would not be addressing this kind gathering without my intellectual abilities. This is the price I'm willing to pay for the honor of serving on the Revolutionary Council. Now that the king is no more, I shall spring open the gates he once charged me to keep. Once we empty his coffers, we shall activate printing presses and fill new libraries to the brim. We shall give children a cursory education. We shall permit the haggard destitute into once privatized institutions to better learn a trade and support our new economy. In our improved society, we need able plumbers and skilled smiths. We need shipwrights and agriculturalists. And I simply do not wish to do any of that. And now, we must away to soup. Thank you. And as they say in Milan, I bid you adieu.
Louis! Louis, I need your help!
What are you doing under the tables? What if Gregory finds his dog?
He won't. He's a big dumb bastard and he won't find me now. I did it, Louis. We're free!
What? Free?
Free from working. Free from the orphanage. Gregory, that big dumb bastard, he yelled at me and he hit me and he sat me down behind his horse. He told me not to get up until I was caked in fresh shit because I'm a spit shit and I gotta spit shit. But I had Grandpa's glass.
Electra? What's that over there?
That's fire. Stars don't make it. People do. There was hay and I had Grandpa's glass and the sun came out. Gregory's trapped. Let's run. Let's go somewhere better. Now's our chance. Seize the opportunity with me.
Look at all that smoke! What did you do?
But I need you to come back with me real fast.
What?
I dropped my glass in the fire. I can't leave without it.
The whole fucking orphanage is on fire.
Yes! Louis, you're swearing. We're ready to take charge. Hurry. Escape means nothing to me without the glass. You're still my friend. Come help.
My whole life was in there. My letters from Mama.
Oh, shit. We'll grab those after we get my glass from the stables.
Don't boss me around right now.
What?
What about everybody else in there, not just the wardens?
It's okay.
It's okay?
I opened the door. I left the door open. We can get in and get your letters.
No, I'm not running into a burning building because of you.
But I ran into a burning building for you.
No, you set it on fire.
For you. I screwed up. Please help me fix it.
Why are you so bad at helping people?
I don't know.
What are we gonna do?
Can't you think of anything? our way. We're gonna run to the capital to where the king is, a place the king will never destroy. And you're going to be the greatest apothecary that town has ever known. Listen to me. You're going to be the greatest apothecary, and I'm going to be your assistant. You'll have a little shop, and everyone will know that Louis Leroy is the apothecary you want.
I'll have to put this somewhere.
You will. You're smart, Louis, and someone will see that. We gotta run. The king probably has spies all around. Are you coming with me, Louis?
You will be okay.
You will, and I'll be there. You'll never think I'm bad at helping again.
I hope you're right.
Thank you, Louis. Do you know where we're going?
Yep, it's where I'm from.
I hope Louis wasn't just being nice when he said I was a good cook. I want to make the council a nice, normal meal. Something to keep the peace. Even if that means Louis moves on without me.
You deserve to lead with them.
Not again, old man. You're not real. You're in my head.
And treat them with power, and they will turn to you.
Are you actually speaking to me, Golden Tooth?
Indeed I am.
But how and why? I'm not a necromancer. I can't work the tongs. I can't entreat a bunch of rich people with power. I can cook them soup and nothing else. What makes me special?
You dream of being a queen and filling the bellies of your subjects with joy.
How does that make me special?
Are those the remains of the king?
In this bucket? Yes. I'm burning them. Wait. You're not suggesting I spread joy. You're suggesting I spread power. You're suggesting I feed the king to them.
You complete the task, yet receive no reward. If only there was a way for you to be as important as you dreamed you could be.
The soup would be disgusting. They'll never eat it. Besides, they don't need more power. They've always been rich.
They are imbeciles, Allegra. You are clever. You are crafty. You are observant. You are resourceful. You want it more than they do. That's what makes you special. Though they have wealth like me, only you understand me.
The council needs us. The people need us. I can save the fucking nation! Ice breath is wrong. We need just enough king for just the right people to solidify our authority, to satisfy all factions. We'll win the council back at my queen feast. We'll buy our way back onto the council with a magic soup and a golden tooth.
Allegra? Allegra! What did you do with the tongs? Are you messing around with the tongs again?
I don't have them. They were in that drawer.
I need to keep a close eye on you tonight. You don't step one toe out of line, okay? You be normal and respectful to our new leaders. This clerkship deal sounds lame with absolute shit, but you know what? I will get it from them, what I cannot get from you. A secure life.
You don't have to be like that. You can trust me.
Can I? Trust you to what? Burn down my home? To write me out of the history
But
books?
to have your best interests at heart. Because you have one for me. But this isn't like the other times. I'm not being selfish. I want to be a part of the council, and I think I can get us back there.
How?
Here.
What do I do with this?
You said it yourself. Being rich makes you greedy, so let them be greedy. You give them this last hunk of gold, and they'll say yes to anything you ask. And while you quench their thirst for wealth, I'll feed their hunger for power. I did a little apothecary magic to the soup.
Smells awful.
Yeah, I'm not a great apothecary. But this mixture will solidify the council's power and ensure that everyone is excited by the nation's progress.
What did you put in it?
I added some things from the fire below pot.
Smells like shit, Allegra, no!
No.
No, you want me to bribe the council with this juice. I don't want to do that. I do not want to do corrupt things, Allegra.
It's not a bribe. It's a show of solidarity.
Solidarity.
That you're one of them. That you truly belong. And you do, Lewis. You really, really do. You're the smart one. You're the one with the big ideas. You need to be sitting around that table. The people of this country might not trust the other three. They might not even trust me. But with you on the council, the people can be happy.
I can be the smart one of the council by being their clerk.
Fuck the clerkship! Where's your ambition from this morning? They can promote hundreds of peasants to clerkship, but you, Louis Leroy, improve the council. Do you deserve to have your wishes heard? Or are you simply bleeding with the herd?
Did you mean to rhyme herd with herd? Crumble some sassafras in your soup. Mask the stench. How do you know the soup will work?
Because I believe in myself.
So no tangible reason.
The tooth is tangible. It'll get you up there. Worst case scenario, I feed them some sassafras, vichyssoise, and you make me the council clerk.
Vichyssoise. Chilled soup. Your bribe, the council with soup plan would be a lot more crazy if I had never met Dr. Alfar.
Knock, knock, knock.
Set the table. Get the food ready.
Get the door! Get it!
I smell vichyssoise. I can smell it with precision. I've had
Where are my antennae of auscultation?
The tongs.
The apothecary says you tried to use them?
I did.
These antennae were forged for me alone. The druids charge a tremendous fee. Whatever voices you heard came not from a broken head in a basket, but the broken head on your shoulders!
Let me just say, I'm very, very sorry. I should have asked permission.
Why waste the bread?
Strange person. You don't ask permission. You simply get things because of good fortunes and vibes.
Thank you for apologizing, but alas, you usurped the council by robbing Ice Breath, and the contract is still voided. Whoopsie.
I deserve a seat at the table, and Lewis does too. I'll make you see that tonight.
Ha! Ha! For your sneak thievery, I should skewer you to the topmast of a sinking ship! You are in no position to be making demands! I admire your passion, but alas, you're too lacking in character, given your history of terrorism.
Terrorism? You praised me for the orphanage this morning.
But you stole from someone I know! That's much worse!
But this country needs us!
Shut up! Shut up! I don't care. We must certify the deed is done.
And soup. We must soup.
We sanded the skull into a fine powder and dissolved it in a boiling pot of water. Allegra disposed of the flesh in the flames below. Correct?
Don't you worry, Petula Ice Breath. There's no chance of the monarchy infecting the common people.
Ashes.
Ashes?
Ashes from when you burned him. Are there ashes outside?
Aren't ashes good?
The ashes must be boiled.
Really?
Come!
Well, Mr. Leroy, I register your assistant's objections. How do you feel about your new position?
Allegra is right. We wanted seats at the council. I have a lot of great ideas. For instance, there are not nearly enough public toilets in the city, and I
So? Just piss anywhere, it's fun.
That sounds beneath the council's purview. Civic planning is a charming hobby, but it is well beneath the line of national leadership.
Perhaps you could use your newfound influence to join a city council. Maybe even become mayor of our little burg. Wouldn't that be something?
technically.
Dr. Alfar is correct. If you serve us well, particularly in this difficult transition period, you will have the admiration of 3 of the most significant individuals in this country.
Possibly even the world.
Oh, I hope so too, Alfar, but we've yet to hear from our global counterparts regarding today's festivities.
King Kermit was half as surprised abroad as he was here, then they'll be on our side.
Huh, well, it's not a matter of personality, it's the very deed of regicide. How will foreign kings and queens look upon a nation who sentences its monarchs to death? Our act may be righteous, but it was heavily deliberated in the open. It is to be seen if others appreciate that.
If they are students of history, they should at least admire the deed from a narrative standpoint.
You despised the king, Mr. Leroy?
Yes. I'm sorry, is that out of line to say? I assume we all shared that. I mean, you killed him.
What? Well, I've killed many people for many reasons. The curse of a military man. This was another mission for me. I developed the necessary animosity and acted upon it.
I was simply thrilled to be a participant in history.
Wait, so you didn't despise the king that you executed this morning?
Personally, not really. Kermit hosted terrific parties and nude masquerades.
He always asked me questions, which was lovely flattery.
It was simply time for a brief power vacuum.
Cycles of history and all that. We 3 are the beneficiaries of political science. King Kermit likely resents the timing more than anything.
Among the poor, among the country's beaten down, among the country's orphans, there was no greater enemy.
Oh, well, do not focus your anger so narrowly, Mr. Leroy.
One man is a rival, not an enemy. The true enemy are the ideas represented by that man.
Kermit did not recognize that. He tried to kill us. He even threatened to kill us from beyond the grave this morning. The antiquated fool. Oh, are we set?
We boiled the ashes just to be sure. Now he is the wind, and whatever he whispers is for the trees. I am satisfied the deed is done.
Please sit and eat some apology soup.
Whatever you have to do to convince these people, do it. These people cannot be our only leaders.
Please, tuck in. The gala at the palace is waiting to recognize its new true leaders.
Was that a speech?
Soup time!
Huh.
Does it taste all right?
Doesn't need more sassafras.
What? No. It's quite chilly, is all.
It's a chilled soup. Don't worry, you'll grow to love it.
Oh, I don't know.
Louis, do it. Give it to them.
Is there some
No, it's the best soup I've ever made.
I should say so. An exquisite delicacy, piquant and creamy, a lovely combination of words.
See, Lewis, it's working. Everyone, Lewis and I would like to show our commitment to the council if you would please have us back.
I would like to contribute this show of my wealth.
Lewis is elite, like you three.
How does a crumb of cheese make one elite?
That's not cheese, you dolt! That's Carmen's golden tooth! You idiots! You were supposed to get rid of him all!
But that one's fake.
And yet you try to bribe us with it?
Not just that, the soup too. You want to know why it's disgusting?
That's never a good question.
The soup is full of power, flowing through you and only you. There is an old authority to this world, and you need it to stand strong as elephants before your people.
Alphar, what theory is she describing?
The fuck should I know?
Why is this soup disgusting, Allegra?
You will destroy our entire revolution with your vanity! Hand over that tooth!
Icebeth, are you alright?
I stood up too fast, I think. Laramont, get that tooth!
Give us that pilfered tooth! We do not tolerate spoils of war!
Oh, I don't feel so good. Oh, no.
Dr. Alpha?
He ate himself into a coma again. Whew, I need to sit down.
Devil! We've been poisoned!
No, they haven't, right?
Not at all! You have all just feasted on the flesh of King! Raw, uncooked power fills your guts as we speak, and the light from your stomachs will be the dawn of a better future!
You fed him to us?
Fed him to them?
The goddamn king is getting revenge on my inside!
He's screaming inside of me!
Scream back! Tell him to get out! Oh.
Shut up! Shut up! You were working for him, you disgusting assassin!
What? No! Are you all sick? No, I cooked it! Well, no, it's cold soup. Do you feel powerful? Council? Hey, guys?
If the king had a mouth, he'd be laughing right now. You have the same cruelty in your heart as the one you wish to replace.
Wrong! Lewis, the contract!
What? You made me bribe the council. I will never read alongside you.
Then I'll do it alone. You can help if you want, but I've got one. I've got the last chunk of King. And it's the part of the King that lasts. His money. With this, our entire nation will become one big Queen's feast. I'm going to do it. I'll swallow this tooth for you, Lewis, and little by little they will break apart inside of me.
You're gonna swallow the tooth?
It's already inside my head. It should be a part of my body. I'll swallow it again and again and again until my insides are lined with royal gold, and I can finally make the world a nice place to be. All hail Allegra Landers!
Oh my god. Allegra, you're choking.
Let it work!
It's not working, you're choking.
No, it's mine. Oh no.
Allegra? Allegra! Shh! Allegra! No. Wake up! Wake up!
All hail.
Who said that?
All hail. Louis Leroy.
Me?
Welcome back, everybody. My name is Mary Beekler. I'm the director of the School of Theater. We are having feedback on Behead, John Handel's play. Congratulations, John. I want to thank the cast, the crew, the director. You saw all of the credits, but thank you to everyone. Thank you to our amazing stage managers, and welcome mentors. We've got Martine Key Green Rogers, we've got Crystal Skillman, and we've got Aaron Carter and John Hendel, the playwright. So I'm literally just going to turn off my mic and let y'all talk.
Deafening silence follows.
Well, I'm happy to start off with some of the things that I thoroughly enjoyed. Number one, the world of this play is absolutely magically ridiculous and yummy and good. Like, I found myself really intrigued by this entire world and how imaginative it is. And there's a part of me that is super thankful that the director and all the actors leaned right into all of that and used all the technology that the zooms and some film editing allows in order to make that happen. But yeah, I just need to say that I found the world really fascinating, and there's nothing like a tooth that talks to make you just like appreciate the magic of theater. I'll pass it on to somebody else.
To piggyback off that, the theatricality of it is so delicious, and the way you work devices into the play, but they're so part of the world, so it's not like, oh, we're doing this so a head can speak. It's and the way that kudos to the director, and kudos also to puppetry, or was actually a person, but the mask or the work or the costume, the makeup was really excellent. The skull speaking was truly magical, and then the choreography with it was really great, and on stage, of course, it's going to be a pure delight. So I, the echoing of inner thoughts, the little songs, there's I remember back in the day, Richard Foreman, going to see Richard Foreman, and he had these delicious little songs that would come out of nowhere. And I was like getting those vibes. I was like, oh my gosh, it's like this Mac Wellman, like amazing. Like it's just in your own voice. And I also like it that you lean into your blurb with the occasional iambic pentameter. There are many lines in here I want on a t-shirt. I was laughing hysterically. And I really like the central characters of Lewis and Allegra. Allegra, right? It's like, just so great. So I'm just really, that's where I will kind of let my excitement pops land right now.
I do want to really fast then shout out, Chantel Booker, our costume designer, and then Nick Bartleson, the props master, who helped put together the tooth and the skull and all that.
Awesome. Good work. Good work all around. I will echo the enjoyment of the world. Speaking of lines on t-shirts, my takeaway line is, why do you think that'll work? Because I believe in myself. So no tangible reason. Like that. So no tangible reason I really want emblazoned on a t-shirt. So, and also really impressed with the creative ways that the entire team found to deal with performance in really ridiculous, kind of unprecedented circumstances. So shout out to all trying to figure out how to communicate this play across this medium. So that, in terms of like questions I have, that would be my segue. Did you see how artistic and beautiful that segue was? Yes. That would be my segue into like some questions about the world and the way the play functions, that I would frame by saying I recognize the challenges of the mediation of this media, and I don't know about the other mentors, but I have had the opportunity to read a couple drafts of this play, so I also have a kind of perspective of it on the page versus this. So as we pivot into things you might think about in the future, that's the kind of position that I'd love to attack from myself. But before I like muddy the waters with my extra reading knowledge, I'd love to kick it back to my fellow panelists and ask like those more broadly, like kind of where those kind of questions of structure or storytelling might have cropped up for you, so that we can also let John know what we're wanting more clarity or kind of more access to.
Yeah, I was able to, I had a script, just because in case there was a glitch or something too, and I was able to scan a bit while reading. So I feel like and I looked at it a bit before the show too, but I didn't want to spoil too much because I was like, oh, this is delicious. So I kind of had a nice balance with it. Yeah, and I would say, because when it started with the tone that was presented before we got to the head and the tooth, which is, again, there's a starkness to that as well as funny, if that makes any sense. So I think that's just something that I'm excited to see in future productions of the play. There's just so many different tones that can come out of this play, and I like that you're playing with all of them. I think the moment of the play that really seems to be the heart to me is the second monologue, the first monologue really, or the second scene of the play. For me, that's where I was like, wow, like, this is beautiful, this poetry, it's in the past, but it's very active, and I want to follow this character. So in terms of the things I was curious about is, I'm curious about just, because it's a great draft and you're in great shape, John, you've done so much great work. I would say, I'm curious about the next step possibilities of really looking at the cause and effect and the turn of each scene. And so there's monologues from the higher ups, I'll just call them that, the council. Is there, because I think there's ways to play with it, but there, do they have to pitch this to the crowd a little bit more? Is there a bit more of an at stake for some of the information we're hearing and the points of view presented in those moments? I feel like Lewis and Allegra have this wonderful arc, and they have a wonderful journey, and the head and the tooth and those scenes of Allegra are incredibly active to me, and incredibly like, I could watch that all day, and like you earn this beautiful climax. But those are the things I'm curious about, because it's so tight, is kind of those turning of the screws and looking at just making sure that, because we saw and then of course places more pressure on a flashback. I feel like it's helpful to see their past, it's helpful to see that story, and I love it. It's kind of, but what about it then informs me about the present action and choices of the question of power in the play. Another thing to put in the category that can support that, John, when you look at this and when you get a 29-hour reading or whatever the next stage is, like dreaming on that and the next forward, or whatever that is, because it's so tight. I would say that really looking at the sense of that arc, the themes are so clear about power and grappling with it, and the more that the choices that Allegra has made that are so clear and so pointed, because she's our point of entry, and you do a masterful thing where she's talked about I love in the beginning, and then but the minute that monologue starts, like, I'm with her in her heartbeat, I'm tethered to her. So like any kind of and you have a lot of deliberation, but I think in the first half or the first hour-ish, that's what that felt very tennis ball-y in a great way, of like she's grappling with a lot. And also Lewis was too. So those are the things that I just, I think those bring out the themes of a woman trying to seek power where she feels powerless in a society that has taken everything from her. And that's where the flashback helps me. But I'm so invested in the present Allegra. Like I want to see her. I just want to, I could go grocery shopping with her. You know what I mean? Like I'll do anything with her. She's my gal. I love her. So it's just something where, and might be a balance, with the flashbacks too. Maybe it's that one sequence. Maybe it's not a few times. Maybe it's, there's a lot of wonderful, surprising things you can do with it. But those were kind of the balance of that is what I was looking for. But those are, in light of the fact that the machinery is working, and you have a wonderful thing that you're paying off at the end.
I appreciate your comment, Crystal, because I have to admit that I had the distinct advantage or disadvantage of not actually reading this before going into this. So I'm going into this not knowing anything besides, what was starting to unfold in front of me. And I have to admit that I wasn't sure if it was the medium or the story that was confusing me a little bit in terms of those or in terms of the flashback. So I'm actually kind of really curious what Aaron is thinking too, just because I'm trying to figure out if it's the medium or if I wasn't quite clear on something. So I'm mostly just saying that because there's a part of me that like wonders how much generally as great of a job as everyone did, how much I'm not quite catching because of the medium that we're in, if that makes any sense. Go for it, Aaron.
Yeah, I mean, that totally makes sense. John, I just want to commend you on the work you've been doing on the play. It's really developed over the time that I've had the opportunity to be a little spy over the windowsill. I don't know why that. It's something about the window I'm in right now where I just want to be like I was peering into
peeping.
a little peeping. I was like peeping Tom on your play. This is crashing and burning. We are moving on.
Okay.
Anyway, you've done really good work. I think, in terms of kind of how story functions, both across this kind of new mediated process for theater people, but also kind of in terms of stage action and stage picture, like I've found myself, because I had experienced the play so far in a few drafts as a reading experience, and I agree with Crystal that early Antlers monologue, I've mentioned it to you before. That is fire, man. That is fire. It is really good stuff. And so and you're right. We're in there. We're in there with her as soon as we experience that. That being said, trying to deal with it in this space made me really aware of kind of volume of language, right? And so I'm going to set some of that aside because we just have more space for volume of language in live and in person than we do across screens, right? And that's just the rule, or not the rule. That's just kind of, I don't know, the physics of it somehow. So I'll set a little bit of that aside. But even with that, I found myself wondering, like, what is it through this experience that allows me to witness what is going on? Like, what are the actions that I see that I can hang on to, even if I'm getting a little lost in the swirl of language, which, by the way, might happen even in person. We were just riffing on Shakespeare a minute ago. I will admit that in the middle of a Shakespeare play, there's a moment where I'm like, yeah, it's pretty. It's pretty. Right? But there's always a really clear purpose that I can latch back to. And in concert with the whole team and director and everybody, usually I have a stage picture and an action that I can hook into as well. And like I was really struck in this experience about what could I plug into so I always knew kind of where I was in the struggle, even if I didn't know exactly what was happening in the moment, and I didn't have that. And part of it is the experiment we're all in. But because I've seen the script a couple times, I also think that there might be some examination of where these things break out of the rhetorical. You know what I'm saying? Where and I think my most concrete thought on that, and then I will stop talking because I feel like I'm babbling, I was really struck witnessing it that we had the tooth, and the tooth was gold, right? And so there was a access to power that had to do with money and wealth, right? And so that the tooth became that. There's also some other sense of power that I don't quite have a handle on. And that sense of power is embodied somehow in the physical head of this monarch, right? And then, is it heredity? Is it greed? Is it I don't know, but whatever you had to do, you had to consume it, and it was magical, and there was a necromancer. And there is something that is fighting for me in the kind of metaphor and concept of it, between the kind of really practical gold equals power, money equals power thing, and the much more ethereal, magical, almost meditation on power that has to do with the magic of the flesh and everything else, right? And like, I think that circle can be squared. Like, I think there's a thing there. But as I tried to understand how those different ideas of power worked, I became really aware that I was mostly witnessing a discussion about power and wanted more access to the actions that also went along with that rhetoric, so I could hold on to what was happening throughout the process. Does that make some kind of
Oh yeah,
sense?
no, that makes total sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, to go off objects, because I'm just going to go to do that. So a couple of quick things, three things, and they're very simple. That's what I love. Again, great work, because it's great to talk about a draft like this. And well, actually, really quick, John, what are you in terms of what you're looking for, in terms of because I like when I go into someone's house, I'm not going to move stuff around. Like, I want to make sure what are you hoping to get out of this today? Like, we didn't really ask you. Mhm.
I mean, I'm looking for general. I don't have any specific questions. I've been working on this damn thing for so long. It needs an audience, and I need audience feedback, and that's all I'm looking for. I'm looking for response. I
So
haven't.
from here, you'd be looking to stage it somehow, but like maybe take in some of the
Oh,
thoughts.
you mean
and
like
then,
next steps?
yeah,
Yeah, it'd be like, yeah, I'd be looking to start, finding some home for it, and working with them to develop it and develop it myself some more. And what
okay.
Aaron's saying is the exact direction I would go with the rewrite. Is because as I've been writing this, I've thought a lot about how action occurs on stage and how it's not present in this draft. And I like, so that idea of activating, which again, but that'd be the end. Yeah.
Cool. So knowing that, thank you so much. And so I'm just going to be more like your psychiatrist, just a little doctor. Like, I always think of a play like a body, and we slice it open and we just look at it, So just technically you have two MacGuffins, and one is in the past, right? So, and it doesn't pay off because it could also be talked about. So just to go back to flashes, just to note that technically for me, I'm a big MacGuffin fan. I like to show the Avengers and be like, oh, these fucking stones, but but we talk about the function of it and what that means in the search for it. And really the tooth becomes that, because it becomes such a symbol of power. In terms of clarity of the head and the dissolve, a little what I mean about cause and effect is that, and maybe it's because I came from visual art, and so I always look at things like sculpture and the process. Adam Bach does this too, in the process of sculpture. This. So the more you lean into the actual literal stuff they need to do to that head, which is definitely there, but an example of a tightening of a screw, just to show you a road, very simple, but it would be, giving a little bit more cause to go visit them, right? Like, rather than hey, we're telling you exposition and we're introducing you to the council, because that's it's so delicious. But and part of the fun for you is seeing stage time. I do think Zoom is accurate to that. So, it's only a few pages in the script, right? But it's delicious, and we're going to live in it, even whatever version happens in the future, right? So knowing that as a playwright, knowing that your 3 page, it might be 6 minutes, it might be 7 minutes, right? Like, that's a part of why we look at the turning of the screws in stage time, because we're looking how the audience relates to something when the actors embody it. So I would say that, if we have to make sure that they do this thing, or there's a discovery of something as to why they have to go. Because I felt like there was a lot of repetition with the council. They're always telling me something, and then they have to go check up on something. And so I was like, so just, if there's just some simple, oh shit, we didn't realize that thing, whatever it is. So so just to follow that with this, I love the sandpaper thing. I think it's so cool. And I want to know more. But if, let's say, the head dissolves, because once I saw the tooth, and this is also the puppetry me, meaning like I've written for puppets. So like once I saw it transform, I didn't want to go back to the skull, because because I wanted to stay with the tooth. So maybe it's just the transformation, and maybe the tooth is the body. Maybe the tooth can go in the soup. That's not an answer by any means. But if the tooth went in the soup and it tasted like a dead person, I would completely understand that the essence of the person. So, so you are playing with almost like a Titus Andronicus, it seems like, world or style, where you're telling us stuff a lot, and then you're also showing us. So to piggyback off of what Aaron's saying, is there a balance with that so we can discover a bit more? However, there are two audiences. There's the kind of audience that's going to want, we know she put him in the soup, and now we're going to see how that plays out. And then there's a different audience that might say, don't tell me that, and then I'll discover it in the scene. I like that you're playing with this very presentational thing. I think it's just more the deliciousness of letting us discover. And I wasn't discovering in the flashback. So I feel like the more time I get to discover in the present, I just think there's just more in the present of the world. And I love also the subplot, which I hope what I'm saying is supporting that. I like it that they're like, they have all the power, but that's not enough for them. They want the love of the crowd. But right now I'm just sensing speeches like, this is what I'm going to do. But I wonder if they've got to, again, get a vote or like a popular thing, or they want to, and that's why they nominated Lewis. And like, you've got it. It's all there. It's just a little tightening. And your language is so delicious. It might also be in there. And sometimes you just need a little point blank language to make that clear. Like, so, what if it didn't start with the crowd screaming and saying you're the best? What if they had to earn that in some way with their presentations, and they think they're so great, and they made these people members of the council, and now they don't need them anymore. Like, they literally, because they're the popular ones, and we didn't like you anyway. So, and that's all there already. But I just think anything that supports the council having more action, more activity, more, in relationships. So they're like closing in on this couple that have this strong thing to do with the tooth. And just a quick idea that with transformation, when it goes to the tooth, we don't necessarily have to go back to the body, or there can be many stages to that body, almost like Hercules, like the Hercules tasks. I could live in that for days beyond just the sandpaper. And I love it that, it kind of goes away because we focus a bit more on flashback. But I love that Lewis is just so point blank, like, well, we have to get the sandpaper. That's what we have to do. We have to do. Like, if you were then like, now we have to go to the forest and this boar has to eat this thing, I'd be like, okay, Lewis knows his shit. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, so I'm living in that, and I'm really thinking that's really exciting for me. And that allows me to discover, and it gives more action to the beautiful debates of power that are happening.
It's interesting that you mentioned that, Crystal, because I have to admit, back to me not having encountered this until tonight. It's weird because my brain I think my dramaturgical brain did like two things and like started putting groups of characters into categories. And so in some ways, like the necromancer and friends didn't like, I hear you. And so to say yes, and part of me thought that they were just so, in some ways, to sort of to borrow your term, there was something very sort of Shakespearean about them that like I just sort of leaned into that and said, okay, they live there. And then we have this other group that lives here and this other group that lives here. And I was like, okay, as long as they play by these rules, I'm okay with this. My brain can handle this. And I think that's just kind of what I did. So I guess there's maybe a part of me that says that. And then you have audience members that are like me that can live in numerous places at the same time and be okay and just say, okay, these people are playing by these different rules. So maybe that was a lot of talking to say that there are a lot of different things that you can do in this moment in order to, as you're thinking about and sort of trying to sort of parse through like, what is the next step? And I think maybe it's just if one wants to keep those groups of characters into those sort of specific patterns and genres, as long as you're consistent with that, then maybe people like me will just roll with it, because that's basically what I did.
Yeah. I'll just hop in with one other thought connected to some of the object work we've been talking about. And I may have missed a piece, but it also maybe echoes the flashbacks. But I was really surprised when the magnifying glass eyepiece thing showed up in the skull's mouth. And like, you know, and that was like really cool. And it also raised a whole host of questions about like reality, time, object permanence. Like it was an interesting little nexus for me. Um, and so you anyway, so I just want to like highlight that moment to say, oh, that was really fascinating. It was a way that the past collided with the present. Um, it did raise some practical questions for me, although some of those practical questions would be answered or mitigated if you leaned into what Crystal was talking about in terms of really looking at the like progression of that sculptural piece of the head and what had to what had to happen. So I don't want to lean too heavily into like, fix the timeline and explain to me how the eyepiece showed up how
Yeah,
many
you
years
want the
later.
clock and the map and everything. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's like whatever. You'll
I mean,
figure
there's
all
an
that
answer.
stuff
You
out.
need it, so it's fine.
That's all right. It's email it to me.
I
But what I'm saying? But I did want to highlight that's a really interesting collision, right? The kind of worlds that Martinez talking about in terms of like here we have these people existing in these spaces. For me, some of what the deliciousness is when those kind of dialogical realms collide, you know. Um, and what happens when those things collide and people start working in different modes. And for what it's worth, the eyepiece in the skull was like one of those places where that really um, showed potential to really collide in an interesting way. So yeah.
I'd love to share. I love that. I love that. And that's such a great thing to say. And that's something just to share out where like I don't need the flashback for like if she mentions this thing, it's like, but that night with the stars, don't you remember? Sometimes it's a John, the way I look at it, and I write it the way you just did. I see all of it. And then I say, what if it was 3 lines? Is it more powerful that we cut to and we see because we have to move this set, we have to transition, we have to go there, we have to spend time there, we have to, then we took the audience out. Now we have to get them back in. Like I write a lot for musicals, so that's a big consideration. Do I want to show them packing and singing about packing, or do I want, or I can just have a character cross the stage with a suitcase? And I have to ask myself, where is my balance with story in the audience? Because fighting to get them back is really freaking hard. That doesn't mean it's not beautiful writing. So, that beautiful, to me, what I remember about those flashbacks was the one moment, that little speech about the stars, that little moment, that's it. And she could very much be saying that to him or echoing it back, or maybe it's just that moment or whatever, or that scene. But then if it shows up in his mouth, that's totally great. And that's the more active section. Is that thing. So I think that just kind of asking yourself those story balance questions can be really fun. I did want to flip back what I took away from the council member speeches, because they take up so much time and there is such action in there. So partly that's a production going forward kind of thought or question, but like they do seem to have a function, meaning the beaches, right? That seems to me to be a poster ad for war, right? These beaches are great. Hey guys, you want something fun to do? I think you might like to go to war with me, right? So if he's got to get people on board for the war, you've got the magical woman, which I just love that line about the journal. You want to get a journal. You want to make sure you're checking everything out, make sure you're part of the scene, right? Like she's an influencer, right? Like she's an Instagram influencer. She's literally saying, without you, we need you to record things, okay? But that's also because she's lazy and she doesn't want to do it, and she's actually asking for free labor. That's a beautiful theme in your play. It's so beautiful that everyone is taxing. There's a lot of great allegories to today. The internship thing, wow, that really just made me go, oh, John, so cool that you're mixing, speaking to the zeitgeist. I thought it was great. It was really cool. But anyway, there is a nugget in here that if there's a clear arc that like I'm trying to do this, right? The only thing is with the fellow who loves words so much, who was so great and so wonderful. I didn't understand. He seemed to be happy about sewers, but then later with Lewis, he was like, but no toilets. And I was like, but you like the sewers. So like, or maybe I misinterpreted that, but so I was a little confused because he seemed to be into technology. And then he was like, no technology for you. And I was like, I think he would like Lewis's idea. Maybe they're like, shut up, you suck, or they have a disagreement. I don't know. But those speeches are really neat because if there can be a bit more activation with them, because they are to the live audience. I mean, there could even be a live component to that. Not that you want to drag people on stage, but I mean, I think that they could vote from their seats if a director so wanted to work with you on that or something interesting. So
Yeah, I mean, and now we're just going to get in trouble. So Mary should stop us soon, because now I'm just going to pile on Crystal. I spend my days in a writer's room right now, and so all it is like, yes, and because of what Crystal said, we should do these 5 things, which is not the world we're in. So I acknowledge that. But even so, I want to say that 2 things that Crystal just hit on, I think are exciting for you to think about. So I want to lift them up as well, echo them. One is this idea of these council members being recruiting in some way and connecting. What that connected to me with, as Crystal was explaining it, was like, oh yeah, they took power of the state, but they still need the mechanics of the state to work, right? And so like if what they're trying to do is like recruit to make the mechanisms of the state still function, the war one is really clear. Like that becomes a kind of interesting part of the coup process. And one of the reasons that connected with me is Crystal's observation about the toilet plan and the sewers, is I do feel like a little bit of a thread that's there that hasn't been fully woven in, is the thread of the bureaucrat and the expert, right? The policy thread, right? Because there's like, because we're in a cultural moment where there's a lot of like kind of like cultural posturing and like lots of heat and emotion around issues, and like we need things like literally how do you get a cajillion shots in people's arms, which is like, that's the like the policy wonk, like that's where that part of the machinery, for me is the we need public toilets line, right? But like how that relates to the machinery of the state, its relationship to power, and like it's all right there for your taking, and just needs a little bit more puppet mastering to really come to light. I will also say this is inside baseball to the cohort because we just did that seminar, but what Crystal is talking about in terms of the choice between do I do this whole scene of packing or do I do the suitcase is the same thing we were talking about in monologues on stage and exploding them for action on the screen when we're talking about ways of communicating stories screen to stage, of like what you see embodied versus what you report. That's a very similar set of decisions about what you gain and lose. So I just wanted to throw that out there since we had talked about it recently.
John, do you have questions, specific questions?
No, I don't have any questions.
No.
No, I mean, these are all kind of the concepts I've been thinking of when it comes to what needs to work on this play. Is there's just a whole lot of tchotchkes on the wall, and I gotta kind of make it, into a home a little bit more. But no, yeah, I definitely hear what you're saying, that there's just these things that are so embedded in dialogue. I mean, just need to become much more of the stage picture, and yeah.
well, and it's a gift to have it in dialogue because you can look back to that's there for you and it's clear. So um sometimes it's not, and it's so subtextual, we're not sure what's happening, and we love subtext too, but so it is a gift, all the toys are there, and you have the story, which is the most important thing, and what you're going for. So yeah, I mean, what I always do with flashback stuff too, because I love it so much, I just, my technique is that after I read it all, if I'm suspecting that, or I can't justify, I saw this, so it affects somewhere in the play, a major piece of action, I remove them and I look at the flow without them, and I put them in their separate document, or I do a separate, and just to see. And and what I'm looking for again is not just information and how the story works, but a little bit with Aaron and I were talking about stage time, looking about the flow.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Well, I'm just really thankful you shared this world with us. I had no idea what I was getting into when this started, and halfway through, I was still trying to figure out what I had gotten into, but I was on that ride with you, which is the important part. So thank you so much. I found myself belly laughing, which I feel like I haven't done enough of in the age of the Rona. So I'm just very thankful that you gave me that gift.
Glad.
Your team really went for it, and it really we weren't I don't know, I just thought I didn't know there'd be costumes. Like I didn't know there'd be a set. Like I was like, what's going on? What is happening? And that's amazing. So kudos to everybody. But I also love a script when I'm like, I really like this version, but I can also see a very stark one with people very still and freaking the shit out of me. And it's just as good. And I love them all. Like I love this Blackadder version too. Do you know what I mean? Like I love it.
Blackadder, yes.
I love so, but that's what you want is a script that can have these different I mean, that's magic. And something I would never want to lose is your rich dialogue in this play is really exquisite.
Thank you. Yeah, I think there is a version of this play that is very stark. I can see that version, and what I would negotiate with that is how much I love the silliness in this play, because the Stark version I see is not silly. It's rather miserable, and so it's like, that's the challenge of then keeping this kind of dark sort of story I got going on, but having this world that I enjoy hanging out in.
Yeah, I would look up David Greenspan for what I mean tonally when I say that, because it is funny. I mean dark but funny.
Yeah,
I have to admit, I got a lot of like Ubu vibes from this play, which I totally appreciated.
Yeah,
as I said, it's such an interesting genre that you're evoking on stage, and I haven't seen that in a while, so I'm just sort of appreciative of sort of that oldie that wasn't necessarily a goodie in the sense that like no one was really doing it besides him at the time, and now you're bringing it back.
Yeah,
so,
I love those one-off avant-garde writers
right.
who give me Tristan Zara. Let's do the Dadaists again.
Right? Like, why not? Why not?
I don't know. We'll go to the balcony. That's my go-to. In terms of that stage time thing we were talking about, like tone-wise, it would be interesting, I think, for you to continue to experiment, because the kind of like stark directness punctuated by those like silly flares is a very interesting world to live in, right? So it doesn't like live in that space all the time, but in those places where you're intentionally anachronistic, or intentionally salacious, like where it's like, I mean, your military guy is a great example, where it's just like you can just be military motherfucker, like just right there, and then it just pops into something really exciting, and like there's this whole thing, and it comes back, right? And you like play with those levels, would be still, I think you would still have that heartbeat possible. But I should probably stop pitching now. So
I like the pitching. There's a lot of theaters, but I don't know them very well, but you guys might. But Red Bull, right? This is kind of Red Bull's thing. Am I wrong? I don't know. Is it Red Bull? Yeah. Yeah. So it would be neat to have a company that can do different techniques really well, and going forward with the play in this world like that, in the theater world, if that makes sense, because I think it can rest in any theater really well, but it might be nice with them that lean into Shakespearean language in modern plays.
Well, thank you all so much.
Yeah, thank you all. It was terrific.
Yes, definitely. Crystal, thank you so much. Aaron and Martine, we're going to see you again tomorrow. We are back tomorrow at noon with a reading of What the Gods Gave Me at noon. We have another reading at 4:00, All to Bear in Heaven. And then tomorrow night, we finish the festival at 8:00 with another produced third-year thesis, The Martha Mitchell Effect. So we've got plenty more tomorrow. So come on back. Thank you, everybody. Have a good night. Congratulations, John.
Nice
and
John.
we'll see you tomorrow.
Congratulations, John.
Thank you.